That's what we're going to talk about today. The Viceroy's 3 requests. First off, what happens when I hit bottom? And anyway, where did this Viceroy come from? What is his role? What is his importance? How can I have my own Viceroy? And what actually happens when we're trying to return? What does that mean? What do we need to carry us back? How can it be that every Yid is a tzaddik? These and more questions. What are the role of my inner tzaddik? From whence comes its energy? And I want to come back again to bottom. And what danger lurks with my yesod, my drive? And how is all of this manifested in today's what we call postmodern world compared to the world when this story was written? Really, what's different now? How can promises manifest in my vision for today? And how will my 4th and 10th steps, if in a 12-step program, make this at all possible? So we're going to cover these and many more topics and what the Viceroy needs for his journey and all of this. But again, in the context of lessons for life, oftentimes because it's our perception of heavenly wrath that drives us away from Avodas Hashem. Heaven-sent inspiration will not suffice to convince us of our error. Instead, we need to feel an awakening from within. Every Jewish person contains an inner point of perfect purity, a place which remains ever untouched by past misdeeds, regardless of their severity. It is this nikudat tova, pintaliyid in Yiddish, within which gives us no rest and relentlessly compels us to pursue a relationship with Hashem. Feeling restless, irritable, and discontent? You're not alone. 3 elements create an emotional foundation conducive to spiritual searching, intellectual, physical, and financial well-being. Even though we have not yet been granted these 3 blessings, at least not in the story yet, it is proper to set out. Let's not wait. It is proper to set out on our spiritual journey in tandem with sincere prayer that we get those things. And it's only possible to discuss the pain of failure when it is enveloped by a spirit of hope and ultimate triumph. When we must rebuke a child or a friend, it is imperative that we lay a foundation of comfort and support before focusing on the misdeed. Try that at home. Recommend it. So, we talked about the Viceroy's 3 requests because her father, if we recall, her father was very pained and he went here and there looking for her. The Viceroy stood up, for he saw the king's pain. He requested a servant, a horse, and money for expenses, and he went to search for her. He searched for a very long time until he found her. Now we will tell of how he searched until he found her. So, we got up to the king does not find the princess, and here an inner point of holiness, where we'll discuss what is the role and importance of the Viceroy, and anyway, where does this Viceroy come from? The majority of our story is devoted not to the princess mentioned in its title, but to the Viceroy, his mighty efforts on behalf of the king, and the progressions and failures he experiences along the way. Consequently, his role is perhaps even more important than that of the princess herself. It is therefore necessary to explore the Viceroy's inner essence and the element he represents in the story of our own lives. Let's see if we can recapture that. If the princess is our lost child, and if the king be Hashem, then what is it about this Viceroy? I would say this is me. My effort to reclaim the princess is in effect the story of my life. And the princess is the ultimate goal, but in a way not the story, because my life is the journey. And so therefore, throughout the writings, the tzaddikim stress that every Jew, regardless of his or her spiritual standing, has a point deep inside that is always perfectly pure. No matter how one may become from holiness or how badly one has sinned, that pilot light continues flickering, even defiant. So I think we're getting here to from whence cometh this Viceroy. Much like the sole jug of oil found among the rubble of the Beis HaMikdash during the times of the Hashmonaim, this inner point remains ever untouched by any level of impurity. When a Jew encounters this essential core of his identity, it enables him to rededicate his inner temple and reignite the flame of his passion toward serving Hashem. The Sfarim HaKiddushim, the holy books, refer to this element in different ways. Some Tzaddikim call it the Pintele Ed, or point of Jewishness. Others refer to it as the Chelek Elocha Mima'al, the portion of God above. Rabbi Nachman of Breslov famously called it the Nikudat Tova, drop of goodness. In his magnum opus, Likutei Moharan, Rabbi Nachman writes, and even when we encounter one who is completely wicked, we must search and seek within him to find some tiny drop of goodness in which he isn't wicked. Likutei Moharan 282. So even when I feel there's nothing redeeming or redeemable within me, I must search until I can find that tiny drop of goodness. And here we go back to that. This is what opens up the gates. I must find that place from which I make the first move towards reaching out to my higher power. This untainted portion of holiness is hinted to in the inner Yaakov, within which Hashem sees no iniquity. It is this element that enables the prophet to refer to every member of our holy nation as Tzaddikim, because somewhere within each of us, we haven't lost that true essence, that inner child, call it what you may. It's there, just waiting for us to reconnect to that. And until we do, or until we're at least on the journey, we have this feeling of being restless, irritable, and disconnected. The Breslover Mashpe'im teach that the Viceroy in our tale refers to this special element in the Jewish soul, the tzaddik within. Note that the energy for this comes from the Hebrew term for viceroy, sheni lemalchus, is literally second to kingship. It connotes the sphera of Yesod, which is positioned directly above malchus. So we're going to go into a kind of a deep teaching here in order to understand how we connect and where this energy comes from. This midah is bound within the concept of the tzaddik, as the verse states, "V'tzaddik yesod olam." The tzaddik is the foundation or yesod of the world. Additionally, the Gemara states, one who is born on Yom Shishi, on Friday, will be a seeker. The day associated with the sixth midah, yesod, contains the energy of the ever-seeking point of holiness within. Indeed, Yosef, the biblical figure who serves as a chariot for the midah of Yesod, is referred to as Yosef HaTzadik, Joseph the Tzaddik. This is the deeper meaning of the verse. He, Paro, had him, Yosef, ride in the chariot of the second in command. From Bereshit 41:43. The viceroy is the Sheni Lemelech, Midas Yesod, the Tzaddik within. Mordechai HaTzadik became the Mishnah Lamelech, second in command as well, in the Purim story. The connection between the sphere, and here's what happens when I hit bottom. The connection between the sphera of Yesod, or Viceroy, and the Brit, the covenant, the sexual organs, the foundation. This connection between the sphera of Yesod, or the Viceroy, is power within me to go back to my roots, and the Brit allows us deep insight into a fascinating teaching from Chazal. Chazal state that when David HaMelech went into a bathhouse and saw that he stood without tefillin, tzitzis, or mezuzah, he said, "Woe's to me that I stand naked without mitzvos." But then he remembered his brit milah, and he was appeased. This Gemara is teaching us, this is from Menachos 43b, that even when a person is sunk in the depths of spiritual rot, devoid of all mitzvos, the aspect of bris, yesod, viceroy, never leaves him. The inner flame of holiness remains ever flickering within. It is important to note, here's the danger, however, that in addition to connoting ultimate goodness and contact with the ever-present validating factor within oneself as well as within the world, Yesod embodies a certain danger. because it is the culmination of the 6 sons, the sixth of the lower Sphirot. When disconnected from Malchus, from the kingship, a relationship with a valid goal, that's our time in this world, Yesod comes to represent the absolute pinnacle of meaninglessness and wastefulness. On the most basic level, Pegam Habrit represents the physical expression of essential potentiality with no hope for substantive development embodied in a mate. In verbal expressivity, Begam Bris Alashon represents excessive and inane speech that conveys no essential point or relevance. In portraying the proper Yesod Malchus relationship, Chazal teach, one who toils on Erev Shabbos will have what to eat on Shabbos. Whoever Yesod on its own, like when we're in the upper clouds, disconnected from the life-giving receptivity of Malchus, disconnected from our world, may be likened to toiling to prepare food on Friday in the total absence of a Shabbos, in the absence of a seventh day. Surely a pointless and vain endeavor. So we're going to go deep into exploring what happens when we hit bottom, what to watch out for, how to reclaim this inner tzaddik, and where it gets its memory. Next time. Thank you.
Beautiful. You're getting very good at it. You're like a whole different person. I mean, you had a lot of
Had a great teacher.
I don't want this. I know. I want that. I don't want the. Take your stuff. I don't want the live camera.
Okay. So that's why we should do you first, maybe.
Whatever you think.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, I don't want.
Okay.
Anybody who's watching, is there anybody on there? I don't see. There's nobody there.
Okay.
Okay, so you turned it off.
No, I didn't turn this off
Okay, so
yet.
turn that off. And get that. You can take that whole thing out of there.
Where are we?
Just take the whole stick. Oh, you don't want to because you want.
It's kind of lined up.
You want it's lined up. Okay, so I need to. I'll just put this where I
So I'll
want
just
this.
show it on me.
Okay,
just
so
can't
that's
see
pretty
that
good. I
far.
can move over to what? I just want to make sure it's not on live.
how to
It
turn
says live.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'll turn it off.
I don't know how to turn it off. So maybe you want to just put it off my face because I'm looking. I don't want to do it anymore with live.
Okay.
I'm never happy with it, and then it just takes off people. And